Emotions are deeper than the thought level. When you explore yourself, you can see thoughts are existing on a very peripheral level, which is based on previous informations. And these previous informations sometimes trigger the person and his deeper areas. And when these deeper areas are triggered, it will pop up in the form of emotions. And emotions are ways to ventilate the stress. So there are thoughts and there are emotions. Thoughts are very peripheral levels, emotions are much deeper level. So something touches the emotional level, then you will understand the power of it. And it starts to shake you like anything, in a positive way, sometimes in a negative way. Sometimes when the emotions are really strong and it triggers the emotions in a very punching way, then you get disconnected with everything. You wanted to disconnect. And a person can be very depressed, or a person can detach from the rest of the world, having no interest to be in the society, isolating the person, and get into very depressive mood. And when it touches the emotional side, you can see the power of it. So it can really take a person into big crisis, very damaging situations, can destroy a person, and he may not be able to cope up with a normal life, and it can end up in mental disorders. So that area is like this. But we have to really see when an emotion is popping up. This is very important if you wanted to know the emotion. There is no other way to study the emotion. And emotions are not shown all the time. When an emotion is showing, that's the only time you can study it. Unfortunately, when an emotion is popping up, we are taken away by the emotion. As we are carried away by the emotion, we don't study it at all. It is so powerful that it takes you away. And your observer mind is not there. And then you are into the emotion, you are the emotion. But there is no distance between you and the emotion. You get some kind of an integration, not a positive integration, a negative integration gets into, thereby you will be taken away by the emotion. Then you don't know where you are. And this is what usually happens with emotions. There are beautiful emotions and there are negative emotions. There are positive emotions and negative emotions. Positive emotions are emotions that allow you for existence and coexistence. Existing and coexisting. These are called positive emotions. And you look what are the positive emotions that we have. Love is a very positive emotion. Empathy, compassion. All these are very positive emotions because it is supporting your existence and it allows you to coexist with the rest of existence. That's why it's called very positive emotions, very supportive emotions. Whereas there are certain emotions which are very strong, which doesn't permit you to exist or coexist. Destructive emotions like anger, avarice, competition, fight, all these things, very, very strong emotions. Jealousy, possessiveness. Because it is not letting you exist together with the rest of existence. And so that is why it could be considered as a negative emotion. The other one is positive because it allows you to exist. So when you are studying these emotions, how can you study? As I said, when the emotion is popping up, that's the only time you can study it. At other times, it is not there at all. When something is not there, how can you study it? It's not there. It's not showing anything. Then you recollect the emotion and try to study it. It is not emotion at all. You take a replica of it and then you try to analyze it and try to understand. which is not an emotion. So if we wanted to study emotion, we have one chance. That chance is as soon as the emotion is popping up. And usually we are taken away by the emotion that we cannot be there very present with the emotion. That's the problem. So for that, what we can do? We have to really keep our composed state. Thereby, when an emotion is popping, you will have a distance between the emotion and you, that you can start looking at the emotion. For that, we can do meditation or some kind of relaxation practices regularly, that as soon as the emotion comes, you get a little space for you to observe it. Otherwise, you don't get that space. If you don't get that space, you are into it. You are being carried by the emotion. And then, suppose if you get a space, now you can see the emotion. You're not being carried by the emotion. Instead, you can see the emotion. I go on watching the emotion. As you have done a lot of homework, like practices, meditation, composing yourself, then you get a small distance between you, a small distance, but you can see it. And as you go on seeing it, then the emotion cannot take over your life. It will be under observation. So the emotion stays as it is, and you see the emotion. You create a distance between you and the emotion, and you see the emotion as it is, but you are not affected because you are the observer of the emotion. If you get that kind of a mode in your life, certainly there will happen a tremendous change in your life. Even if an anger comes, if you can keep, anger is a very strong emotion. And when this strong emotion is coming, you can get a little distance between you and this emotion. From there, you start to work. Thereby, you always keep the distance. You will not be taken by the emotion. Instead, you keep the emotion under surveillance, under observation. So the emotion cannot grow and grab you and finish you. But you can see the emotion. And when it happens, maybe you may fail at the beginning, but by practice, you can continuously see the emotion. When you start to see the emotion, there will happen something very particular. It's a beautiful thing that is going to follow watching the emotion. The beautiful thing that happens is that you started to feel this strong killer emotion is placed inside your small being in a very, very subtle way. And you start to feel the great plan of this great emotion hiding in you. And when you start to feel, you start to get into a different plan of existence. And that different plans, you start to feel gratitude for the possibility for you to see such a powerful thing, and also see the incredible power it has, which is also generated from you. And when you started to feel, you feel gratitude for having this life, to experience this, understand this powerful emotion, and then it transforms into a feeling of gratitude. From the feeling of gratitude, it goes into a further state whereby you started to feel love to the emotion. And that happens when you identify with this grandeur emotion that is surfacing, and you're not being carried by it, but you are seeing it fully, existing with it, but it's not carried, it is not taking you away, but you are seeing it. And you become one with that. From there, it bubbles. That happens like bubbling inside. And this bubbling will take you into a higher plan, and that higher plan is called devotion. You start to feel devotion to the plan of existence, which keeps such a powerful thing in this frail body. You see the great plan. And when you get that, you get into a deeper emotion, which is called devotion, which is an expression of love. And then you are out of this emotion. There is a great possibility. All emotions are there in human beings for serving this purpose also at the same time. But if you don't get that distance, we'll be carried, and then we'll be a fighter, we'll be killer, and we will be destroying the whole thing. Everything is with a purpose, and we can get into the higher state of emotion, which is called devotion. And then this emotion is not going to affect you in a negative way, because you feel devotion for this grandeur of this plan of nature. And then you mastered the emotion. Thank you.